Hey guys, what is up? Welcome in to my video for Best of 2024 series. So, we're going to go over some books that I thought were the best of what I read this past year. So, yeah, just take that with a grain of salt. This is my list of my favorites. So, there's stuff I haven't read, there's stuff I still want to read. But just looking back, this was the stuff that really stood out to me. So, I wanted to get on here and share that list with you guys. I've really enjoyed watching these videos and a lot of other creators' channels. They've given me some books to go check out and other things to read, so I'm really looking forward to doing that. And yeah, I just felt like it was a good idea to come on here and kind of go over some of these great books that we got this past year. Like I said, stuff that I really, really enjoyed. So we're going to start with some honorable mentions, and then we'll get into my best of list. But yeah, I hope you guys like it. So we'll start with the honorable mentions first. First up on our honorable mentions list, we have Somna by Becky Cloonan and Tula Lotay from Distillery. This was a pretty steamy book, but a beautiful book nonetheless. The art of this book really can't be ignored, especially Tula Lotay's dream sequences. They were absolutely stunning. Hopefully, we get something else from this creative team down the line, maybe a longer project. But yes, absolutely stunning book. Highly recommend Somna. Next up on our honorable mentions list, we have Ultimate Spider Man by Jonathan Hickman and Marco Cicchetto from Marvel. This book started very strong for me. I was a big fan of the art. I am a big fan of the art. Some parts do drive me crazy. Peter's trusting, the newspaper story, the Christmas issue, some of this stuff did not work for me. But overall, I'm very happy with the series. I'm happy to have a readable, ongoing Spider Man series. It's probably my second favorite of the Ultimate books, but we're going to keep a close eye on Ultimate Wolverine. So there you have it, Ultimate Spider Man. And finally, for our honorable mentions, we have the Energon Universe by Image and Skybound. The only issue with these was there were too many good titles for me to throw them on individually, but I could not leave them off the list. Honestly, there was a lot of really good series in here. Transformers, Duke, Cobra Commander, probably my top three, but I really did enjoy everything I read from these books from this shared universe. So I had to include them somehow. Really great job done by a bunch of different creators, really solid throughout. I highly recommend reading this shared universe from Void Rivals, Transformers, all the G.I. Joe books. They really do all hit well. So there you have it. Energon Universe coming in for our final honorable mention. All right. So those were our honorable mentions. We'll get into our best of list now. Just a quick note, these are not in any particular order. I just want to be clear about that. I did try to save the kind of what I thought were the best for last, but just a heads up, there's no numerical order to these or anything like that. It's just strictly what I enjoyed. I went back actually this month and did a complete reread of all these books. That's kind of why I'm getting this video out as late in the month as I am, but I wanted to be thorough and I wanted it to be fresh in my mind when I was doing these write ups and going over what I thought was best. So uh, there you have it. So let's get into it. Best of 2024. So, first up for our best of 2024, we have Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees by Patrick Horvath from IDW. It's hard to believe that this is Patrick Horvath's first venture into the world of comics, which I think only adds to the appeal of this book that is dark and sinisterly fun, shocking, and at times grotesque, but in the best way possible. It's an amazing blend of cute and fuzzy and dark and bloody. The fact that this book, given its premise, works as well as it does is a true testament to the skill of the creator. Um, I was late to the party on this one, but I will not be on whatever he attempts to do next. So, first up, there you have it, Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. Next up, we have Ultimate X-Men by Peach Momoko from Marvel. Say what you will about this series, and I'm sure it's not popping up on everybody's list. And some of the criticism I understand, but I happen to find this story and obviously its art extremely refreshing. The story alone, remove your expectations of what an X book should be, is good. It just is. It's a good book. It dives into some pretty dark and heavy content that I wasn't quite expecting, but its characters and story are very compelling. I'm on board with this book, and I want to see where it goes. So There you have it, Ultimate X-Men. Next up, we have Rook by Jeff Johns and Jason Fabok from Ghost Machine Image. This book is my sci-fi, animal controlling, action-packed guilty pleasure. Except it's not a guilty pleasure. This book is absolutely amazing. The world building of the series is top notch. The character design and art is freaking awesome. The villain is badass. It just has everything I want in an action sci-fi comic. This style of story reminds me of my youth, and it feels like this series was created to be a kick-ass a toy or playset line, which I hope does happen at some point. Other Jeff Johns books could have possibly made this list, but there is none I'm enjoying more than this one. Give me a sick looking animal helmet that controls whatever animal species you want to pick, and I'm all about it. So I'm all in on this book, Rook. Coming in on our best of 2024 series is Avengers Twilight by Chip Zdarsky and Daniel Cunha from Marvel. Best Avengers book by far this year, and quite possibly the best Marvel book of the year for me. A dark and poignant futuristic Avengers story that evoked comparisons to The Dark Knight Returns. And I get it, this book is no Dark Knight, but it's pretty dang good. Really great cap story, a story that definitely seems extremely relevant these days, and one that I was happy to get. Amazing Alex Ross covers with this series, but don't sleep on the interior artist Daniel Cunha's covers either. He definitely brought his A game when it comes to this series and those covers. So there you have it, Avengers Twilight. Next up on our list, we have Grommets by Rick Remender, Brian Posen, and Brett Parson from Image. I'm sad to say that I was skeptical about this book going into it. I'm not from California. The skating era of my youth was more so the East Coast during the 90s, but I cannot ignore the feelings that this book stirs up while reading it. Nostalgia is definitely at play here in a big way, obviously, but I don't think it's hard for many people to relate to this book. What it's like to be young and feel out of place and at times misunderstood. This book really works on so many levels. You can really feel and sympathize with its characters. It made me literally laugh out loud multiple occasions. And it also reminded me of what it was like to be young, new friends, first love. This book just really works. Grommets. Next up, we have Ain't No Grave by Scotty Young and Jorge Corona from Image. This was quite possibly my favorite book of the year. A beautiful, heartbreaking Western tale that's incredibly well crafted and matched, if not exceeded, only by the art that accompanies it. Some of the scenery pages of this book literally took my breath away. The art works so well for this darker Western story. This book was a bit of a surprise for me, but I absolutely loved it. It was such a pleasant surprise. Like I said, the art was so stylized and perfect for the story. The depiction of death really worked so well. One of my favorites in recent years. You also got some amazing covers by both contributors on this book as well. So there you have it. Ain't No Grave. And last up in our best of 2024, we have Helen of Windhorn by Tom King and Bilquis Evely from Dark Horse. If I had to pick, this would probably be my top book of the year. This book was absolutely stunning, first and foremost. The art, and in some ways, it really stole the show for this book, which is saying something because Tom King's writing is great, and this story was very, very well done. But there is not a page that just does not make your jaw drop when reading this book. Beautiful story, beautifully crafted. Absolutely loved reading this book. I love this team together. Hopefully, we get more from them in the future. But yeah, there you have it. Helen of Windhorn. All right, guys. So there you have it. That was my best of 2024. Yeah, a lot of really great books on there. I know my list is probably different from a lot of people's, but that's what makes it my list. Like I said, I did find a lot of other stuff that I want to read from this past year that either flew under my radar or it wasn't something that I was interested in when it first got released. But after seeing a lot of other people's lists and things like that, I got a lot more to read, which I'm really excited about. I hope you guys appreciated the list. I hope you guys maybe saw something on there that you yourself will read in the future or something like that, or that you enjoyed yourself. Um, I really do feel like we got a lot of great books this past year. I know that sometimes the comic industry can be a little negative and things like that. But I really think we have had a really great couple years when it comes to comic books, what's been released, the writing, things like that. We should be, well, at least I think that we should be grateful for some of these things that we have. And that's kind of what this list is all about. So, yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Um, I'll be making some more content soon. I don't know what else I really have coming up soon, but we'll see. But yeah, guys, let me know in the comments what you thought. If there was books that I missed or something that you totally disagree with, I'd love to hear it. That's what these videos are for, to kind of get the good discussion going. So, like I said, I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, guys, happy hunting.